leader in sports. This is ESPN News.
You're looking at a live picture from Las Vegas. Mike Tyson has arrived at the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and the moment his hearing begins, we'll bring it to you. Tyson's seeking to have his license reinstated in order to facilitate his proposed heavyweight title fight with Lennox Lewis on April 6th. We will bring you that hearing live here on ESPN News. First of all, though, let's bring you the ESPN.com interactive poll question today. It has something to do with Mike Tyson. Very interesting question. What do you think of Mike Tyson? Not sure this page really suffices, but here are your choices. Still think he's the champ? You feel sorry for Iron Mike? Unjustly portrayed by the media? Or you just wish he'd go away? And not surprisingly, 71% of you say you just wished Iron Mike would go away. Well, let me tell you this. That's not happening. At least not today. Again, we'll bring you that hearing the moment Mike Tyson arrives in Las Vegas. In the meantime, Betsy Ross gets us up to date with headlines.
He is in the building, we have been told, and again, we're just waiting for him to get into that room. Well, the last time that Mike Tyson asked Nevada boxing regulators for a boxing license, he brought Muhammad Ali and Magic Johnson along to help plead his case. Well, today, Tyson's have to go it alone to convince commissioners to give him a license for a scheduled April fight in Las Vegas with Lennox Lewis. He will not only have to explain why he scuffled with Lewis's posse at a New York news conference last week, he will have to explain a number of scuffles that have happened since he last fought in Las Vegas. That was back in 1999. Of course, Tyson has had his share of bizarre events. The attack on Lennox Lewis at last week's news conference, just the latest one. Shortly after knocking out Andrew Galata, the fight was ruled a no contest when Tyson tested positive for marijuana. Tyson fought Norris to a no contest when he hit Norris after the bell. And then after his fight with Francois Botha, Tyson admitted to trying to break Botha's arm during the fight. And, of course, the infamous ear-biting incident involving Evander Holyfield. As we've been saying, we will have that Tyson hearing coming up for you. Should start any moment now. We can see the photographers just outside the main room there where the hearing will be held. And again, we have been told that Mike Tyson is in the building. We are just waiting for him to show up in the hearing room. As soon as that starts, we will go to it live right here on ESPN News. To the east in a little while, but now let's go back to Las Vegas. Mike Tyson is walking into the hearing room for his hearing to try to get his license back in Las Vegas. Again, Mike Tyson has not fought in Las Vegas since 1999. He has to get his license back. This is what this hearing is about in front of the Nevada State Athletic Commission to get his license back for a scheduled April bout with Lennox Lewis. The hearing is about to begin. Let's go to Las Vegas.
Here. Chairman Dr. Mack. Here. Before we get started, a few rules. No cell phones. Sure, they're off. If they come on, you'll be asked to leave. No heckling, abusive language. The security officer will remove you. Flash, no cameras, not allowed. So make sure you assist us in that area. And starting for the chair, I'd like to have the commission members allow me to set some rules in terms of who speaks first. So I'd like to have Alamo, Amy Ayub, and I think we'd like to have John Bailey and Flip Romansky and myself last. Those are the order of the people that will speak. All right, now we get started with the last item of the day. Request by Michael G. Tyson for license to box per NRS 467.017. Mark, would you kind of interpret what that is so everybody knows?
Yes, sir, that's the licensing. What it means is that any fighter over the age of 35 will be 36 this calendar year, must appear before the commission or must have commission approval, and that is what he's here for today.
I'd like to read Nevada Revised Statute, Chapter 467. This is what our meeting is all about today. An application for a license constitutes a request for determination of the applicant's general suitability, character, integrity, and ability to participate or engage in or be associated with contestants or exhibition of unarmed combatants. The burden of proof is on the applicant to establish to the satisfaction of the commission that the applicant is qualified to receive a license. With that, we'll get started. I'd like to say, have a list of who's going to speak first, and Shelley Finkel, I would like to have you speak first. After that, Bob, you have a set of people you'd like to speak first, or how you want that handled?
Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, if I may introduce ourselves.
Okay, please.
Mr. Chairman, if I can just make a brief disclosure. I see that Mr. Tyson is represented by Bob Fess of the law firm of Lionel Sawyer and Collins from 1985 through February of 2001. I was a member of that law firm. I am no longer associated with that firm, and I just wanted to make that disclosure.
Thank you. So Bailey, appreciate that. Vice, please.
I am Bob Fess of Lionel Sawyer and Collins, appearing with co-counsel Elizabeth Brennan of our firm, Lionel Sawyer and Collins, on behalf of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is here at the council table, along with Shelley Finkel, his boxing advisor, and Matthew Johnson, his business attorney. Also present is Keith Clevin, Mr. Tyson's fitness trainer, who will testify to Mr. Tyson's fitness. Mr. Chairman, would you care to swear in witnesses at this point?
Well, I have Mark swearing the witness at this point. Mr. Kaiser?
Well, actually, where would you prefer that I do that or that you do that? Okay. Well, we can just have those who plan to give testimony stand and raise their right hand. You swear that the testimony you are to give today before the commission is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we understand we are here because of the events of January 22nd. We request permission of you and the commission to allow us to make a full presentation along with other evidence we feel is relevant and a statement from Mike Tyson. And we ask with respect that so that we may deliver a coherent presentation, that we be allowed the courtesy of completing our presentation before the questions from the commission.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry to interrupt, and I will try not to interrupt, but we're not here because of the events of January 22nd. I just want to make that clear that's not the only issue in front of us, and I apologize for interrupting you.
Well, I have respect for you, Doctor, and I understand that. It's our understanding that until a few days ago that the Commission was satisfied with the matter before it, that you had the information you needed to make a decision, and that Mr. Tyson's presence was not required. So from that, we assume the reason he's here is that the emphasis is on that event, and we're prepared to address that. We do not disagree with anything you said, Doctor.
And again, I hate to interrupt, but the entire commission was not satisfied.
But there's a little bit of truth to what you say in terms of we did not request Mr. Tyson. There was not need at that time. There was a whole different program at that point in time.
We're prepared to deal with that program. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Tyson's application...
Excuse me 1 second, Ms. Homansky, you have anything else to say?
No, sir.
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Mr. Tyson's application is before you today because he will reach the age of 36 years in 2002. Now, such applications are not unusual. You considered others of the same type this morning, and I understand in each case your concern was the physical fitness of the fighter, basically for his own protection. Now, your decision today obviously is not whether Mike Tyson will meet Lennox Lewis for the heavyweight championship of the world, but simply whether the match will be held in Nevada. The WBC has announced the fight will be sanctioned in whichever jurisdiction it is held, and news reports say that at least 3 other jurisdictions at the moment already have said that Mr. Tyson and the fight would be welcomed. Now, we are painfully aware of the avalanche of news media coverage and comment to which the Commission has been subjected as a result of the January 22nd incident. Much of it advising this Commission precisely how you should rule before you have heard one bit of evidence. We commend the fair, responsible, and judicious manner in which the members of the Commission and Executive Director Mark Ratner have reacted publicly to this unceasing pressure so that Mr. Tyson could be accorded his constitutional right of due process. Rumors abound. Even the ridiculous notion that one of you today will question Mr. Tyson relentlessly with personal questions until he is provoked and provides a negative response. I reject that. I know that cannot be the case. I know that none of you is capable of doing anything other than being fair, objective, and relevant to the matter before you. And I welcome the opportunity to be before you, one of the finest commissions anywhere, and in the opinion of most, the best athletic commission in the United States. And because you and your chief counsel, Keith Kaiser, traditionally have been so cognizant of constitutional rights, we expect the commission will not seek to inquire into allegations concerning restricted foreign travel or the matter now pending before the Clark County District Attorney's Office. In order to preserve his constitutional rights, we cannot permit any comment from him in those areas. Now this, as you know, because you're longtime Nevadans, is not the first time that Nevada and its public officials such as you have been subjected to criticism from outside the state because of boxing. 2002 marks the 105th anniversary of a bill adopted by the Nevada legislature in 1897, which a number of other states criticized as unacceptable. That 1897 legislation made possible the first legal prize fight in Nevada, which was between Ruby Robert Fitzsimmons and Gentleman Jim Corbett, and other states thereafter followed Nevada's lead, using boxing for the economic benefit and the entertainment of its citizens. Boxing since then has become a widespread, successful, and celebrated business in America, although often criticized for its defects, abuses, and controversies. In The Ultimate Encyclopedia of Boxing by Harry Mullen, which has a picture of Mike Tyson as the centerpiece of its cover, it is written, quote, "Let's face it, boxing has never been politically correct. It is a macho world where violence is venerated and rewarded," unquote. One of the most celebrated champions was John L. Sullivan, the last of the bare knuckle champions, of whom that boxing encyclopedia wrote that he was not a model citizen, but he remains everybody's idea of a prize fighter, a raucous, hard man who could cheerfully back up his boast that he could, quote, "lick any SOB in the house." Except John L. Sullivan did not say SOB. Another historic champion was Jack Dempsey, of whom it was said that his pattern of savagely beating his opponents created the term killer instinct. His relentless attacks on the fallen opponents of his led to adoption of the standing 8-count rule. Now, those champions are part of a long history against which today's champions are measured. The incident on January 22nd is part of a long history also, where boxers trained to a razor edge for battle with an often hated opponent are brought face to face with that opponent to bolster interest in a fight. Now that exercise is called a face-off. Although face-offs vary in style, they essentially bring opposing boxers into close proximity, but they are expected to display hostility in the form of words or facial expressions. Increasingly, uncontrolled violence has become the norm at face-offs. World Boxing Council President Jose Sulaiman, who was a victim of the January 22nd incident, termed it, quote, "only one more link of a chain of violent and regrettable actions that must be broken," unquote. With your permission, Mr. Chairman, I call upon Kyle Stevens to use the audio-visual equipment to illustrate some of those links.
If there's any witness in the testimony, be sure to give your name and spell the name for the court recorder, please.
Kyle Stevens, S-T-E-V-H. This first video saved contains footage from the Knicks Lewis Tyson walking an ESPN interview with Gary Villowitz.
During a radio case here, did he question your sexuality? Yeah, he said, why you sound like gay? That's all.
I'm not gay. Why are you calling me gay? He said he's not calling me gay. So I don't understand that.
What did you say, S.C.?
I said what he did was gay. I said he wanted to take it to the court, and we fighting that around the same time. I told him we was going to fight anyway. So I said that was gay to take it to the court. I mean, I don't know why he was so offended.
I'm 100% woman's man, so don't even play that. If you're worried about that, bring your sister, bring anyone.
No, hold. I'm tell you right now, if you don't want me saying nothing about your mother, your father, or anybody else in your family, do not say nothing about my family.
Be careful what you
do not say nothing about my family.
Be careful what you say.
Do not say nothing. Man, you ain't nobody. I say what I want to say to you.
Go ahead, man.
I say what I want to say to you. What you mean? I just said it. What you want me to say? What you want me to say?
Say anything you
like what?
Like what?
Like what?
Anything
what you want me to say?
Say anything you want.
What?
Okay, we don't want that. Guys, hold on. Come on, big man. Come on, big man. Come on.
Now, Mr. Chairman, let's turn to the January 22nd news conference in New York City. We're going to show the Commission once again a series of events that marred that event. Mike Tyson trusts that you will see it as he experienced it. My words to you now repeat what Mike Tyson has told me. Mr. Tyson was told there was to be a face-off between him and Lennox Lewis. Mr. Tyson understood that Mr. Lewis had agreed to the face-off and was going to follow the script. Mr. Tyson had no intent to hurt anyone, nor have physical contact with anyone. Mr. Tyson intended just to play an assigned role in another production of boxing theater. We submit that the video coverage you will see, first in regular time and then twice in slow motion, will demonstrate the following. Mr. Tyson entered the stage first and stood on a platform. He was at ease, standing in a relaxed stance without any evidence of hostility or tension. As Mr. Lewis was being introduced, Mr. Tyson, as he was supposed to, walked toward Mr. Lewis's position. Mr. Tyson's hands were open and at his side. As Mr. Tyson approached, a Lewis bodyguard intercepted Mr. Tyson and slammed a forearm into his chest. Mr. Tyson struggled to disengage himself from the hold of the bodyguard. And yet, still thinking that this was just play acting, Mr. Tyson swung his left arm and fist in a manner that, in comparison to his usual style, was lackadaisical. And he deliberately missed the bodyguard's face by 4 inches or more, even though he was standing right next to him. At no time after the bodyguard pushed and struck him did Mr. Tyson threaten or even look at Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis nevertheless struck Mr. Tyson with a closed fist from the side, which Mr. Tyson described to me as a sucker punch. A melee involving several persons thereupon broke out. Mr. Tyson immediately was knocked to the floor of the stage, with other persons lying on him or holding him down. Mr. Tyson, at that point, became a non-participant in which he was powerless to do otherwise. On the tape, you will see that Mr. Lewis is punching down at someone on the floor. Mr. Tyson says that he was the one being punched when he was defenseless, suffering a cut on his head. The tape does not show Mr. Tyson biting anyone. And Mr. Tyson states he did not bite anyone. At this point, Mr. Chairman, I will ask if Mr. Tyson will confirm that what I have just said is the truth.
Yes, it's true. Everything he said.
Now, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, I ask if Kyle Stevens will roll the tape of January 22nd.
Mr. Chairman, can I just ask one quick... Mr. Chairman, can I ask one quick question?
Sure.
Mr. Fess, are you going to show the entire episode through to its end?
We're going to show the first part, and I'll address the second part.
But you're not going to show the second part?
I do not intend to.
Okay.
I'll give a description of it, Doctor.
Excuse me, is this a tape? Where's Mark?
Yes, sir.
Is this a tape that we were shown, the commission's tape, similar to that?
This should be very similar. This would be the
This is
ESPN tape.
a collection of Showtime raw footage of the press conference. The first clip is actually a pre-press conference interview with Lex Lewis by Showtime. The second clip is footage of the press conference. The next 2 clips after that are slow motion replays of the incident. The 5th clip is a clip of the aftermath where an unknown individual or an unidentified individual says something to the effect, and this is a quote, "Tyson went up to him first. That's what was in the script. That's what was in the script." And I have replayed that after that as well.
The manipulation on your part, like for instance, if you and Mike do a stare down today, right? You are a good 5 to 6 inches taller. You're bigger. I mean, is that something that you're aware of and you try to make him aware of?
Yeah, well, be silly of me not to be aware of it. You know, I'm looking down at the man, so obviously I know that I'm bigger than him. But you know, I'm looking. If there's a stare down, you know, my stare down is right before the fight. Don't need to stare down right now, because that may bring punches and bring some kind of activity.
From the press conference.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lewis versus Tyson is on. Introducing the principals at this time, the challenger, the WBC #1 rated heavyweight in the world, the former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the defending champion, the linear heavyweight champion. He is the WBC, the IBF, and the IBO heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
For those of you just joining us here on ESPN News, you're not watching a replay from here of last week's press conference fiasco between Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. You're watching it from Las Vegas, where Mike Tyson is attempting to get his license reinstated by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. In fact, this is live coverage of the Nevada State Athletic Commission's hearing today and their video, thus the poor video quality. We apologize for that. We are watching Tyson's reinstatement hearing live, as we have been for the past half hour or so. Just to summarize what's happened so far, Tyson's attorney, Bob Fess, has offered this videotape as evidence as to what happened a week ago today in New York City. And now let's hear back from Mr. Fess.
Following that melee, as Dr. Mansky has said, and that was regrettable and objectionable. And Mr. Tyson has apologized to those whom his actions offended. I do not today offer justification for Mr. Tyson's action, but perhaps I may reasonably ask you for a small bit of understanding. Mr. Tyson had been shaken by what he might have viewed because he thought there was a joint agreement that he had been double-crossed. Mr. Tyson had been beaten and bloodied, but he was not threatening anyone at that point. Then he heard an insult shouted at him from a journalist covering the event. Now, I mean no disparagement of journalists. I started my career as a boxing and sports writer for the Las Vegas Sun at about the same time as veteran boxing writer Royce Fior. But it has amazed me that in the criticism of Mike Tyson for unprofessional conduct, that no comment has been made that his actions were triggered by an action that goes beyond the traditional conduct expected of a journalist. That of being an objective, uninvolved observer, acting as the eyes and ears for the public. Mr. Tyson said that the fact that the journalist did not act professionally added to the public humiliation he felt at that moment. If Mike Tyson had not been insulted by words that would insult any of us, his actions would not have occurred. Mr. Chairman, I ask Mr. Tyson at this point if he will confirm that what I have said is the truth.
It's the truth, yes.
Now, it is a human reaction to do something in the face of insults. The word despicable offended Vice President Aaron Burr to the extent that he killed Alexander Hamilton. In Nevada and the Old West, insults were answered by bullets, not words. Mike Tyson was offensive, but he did not leave the stage to hurt anyone. If you will recall, bodyguards did not even put a hand on him because it was evident he was merely expressing his anger with words and not moving to endanger anyone. Those were ugly words, I agree, including the repetitive and strong use of what is politely called the F word. I have not seen such a tirade of the F word since the last time I saw The Sopranos on HBO. There were other objectionable words used also for which Mike Tyson expressed regret. The one thing that all those words have in common is that they have been found protected by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, found protected by the United States Supreme Court and other courts. I share your distaste for the expression of those words, which Mr. Tyson has admitted were inappropriate. However, I respectfully submit that the freedom of speech guarantee, one of our most revered and protected principles, prohibits government punishment of him for expressing them. Mr. Chairman, Mrs. Brennan will now address the matter of physical fitness.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman and other members of the Commission, at this time, we take the opportunity to read into the record an affidavit At this time, we take this opportunity to read into the record an affidavit sworn to and attested to by Mr. Keith Clevin this afternoon. Affidavit of D. Keith Clevin, MS, PT, ATC, State of Nevada, County of Clark. D. Keith Clevin, being first duly sworn, deposes and says, "My name is D. Keith Clevin. I have personal knowledge of the facts stated in this affidavit, and I am competent to so testify. I am currently Mike Tyson's fitness and conditioning trainer, as well as his physical therapist. I have participated in the training and conditioning of Mike Tyson for numerous heavyweight fights that he has been involved in over the past 10 years, including Mr. Tyson's fights with Andrew Galata, Lou Savarese, Julius Francis, Orlin Norris, Evander Holyfield, Frank Bruno, Peter McNeely, and Razor Ruddock 1 and 2. For those of you who don't know me, I have attached for your review a true and complete copy of my curriculum vitae, which is 11 pages in length. In order to save time, I will highlight some of my background and professional experience. I received my certificate in physical therapy from Children's Hospital School of Physical Therapy in Los Angeles, California. I received my Bachelor of Science degree as well as my Master of Science degree from Brigham Young University. I completed 1-year residency in physical therapy at the University of Southern California. I am currently a licensed physical therapist here in Nevada, and I am certified as an athletic trainer by the National Athletic Trainers Association, which is a certification that I have held since 1978. Since 1996, I have been the owner and director of the Keith Clevin Institute of Orthopedic Sports and Dance Rehabilitation here in Las Vegas.
We'll send you back out to Las Vegas in just a moment as Mike Tyson's license hearing continues at the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Stay with us here on ESPN News.
The Las Vegas Institute of Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine.
And welcome back to ESPN News as we continue our coverage of Mike Tyson's reinstatement hearing with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Tyson, of course, seeking to regain his boxing license in that state in order to facilitate his planned heavyweight title fight with Lennox Lewis on April 6th. Just to summarize what has happened so far, the commission has gathered this is the last item on their meeting today. We've heard a lot from Tyson's attorney, Bob Fess, who, among other things, pointed out the fight has already been sanctioned by the WBC and accepted by other jurisdictions. He also made comparisons between Tyson's behavior and former champions of yesteryear, John L. Sullivan and Jack Dempsey, and then referred to the face-off with Lennox Lewis last week, which sparked a fiasco in New York City, saying it was basically a planned event that got out of hand. Tyson thought he was play-acting when he threw the initial punch, according to Fess, until Lewis, among others, hit him. And then, responding to the verbal tirade Tyson inflicted on a reporter, said that was incited by a journalist in the crowd. We're now hearing from another representative of Mike Tyson's, basically reading an affidavit of Tyson's personal fitness trainer, who is testifying, I should say, as to Tyson's physical fitness. Strictly speaking, that is what this hearing is about. Any fighter over the age of 35 must have one of these hearings in order to regain a boxing license in the state of Nevada. And as I said, strictly speaking, that is what this is about. We will keep... All right, let's get you back out to Las Vegas now. And once again, it's part of the video production portion of Mike Tyson's representative's case to have his license reinstated with the Nevada Boxing Commission. This has been an AV production, the likes of which you might see in high school. We've seen video from Lennox Lewis, Hasim Rahman's fight on Up Close on ESPN. We've seen video from last week's fiasco at the press conference to announce Lewis's scheduled fight with Tyson, which has led in part to this hearing today. We just heard from a representative of Tyson who read an affidavit from Mike Tyson's trainer, who said Tyson was, quote, physically and mentally fit to fight. That from D. Keith Clevin, Tyson's fitness trainer, testifying today. Let's now listen to this bit of motion picture Crocodile Dundee in L.A.
Inhale the positivity. Open your eyes. Wake up. Relax. How do you feel?
Very powerful.
And that's the ticket, Daddy-O. Power. It's all in the power.
Mikey, would you just hurry up ahead? I need to talk to Mike for a minute.
Okay.
Private.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome, Mikey.
See ya.
Take care, buddy.
Now, Mike, I need a favor.
No, Mick. Everybody needs a favor from me.
I need you to help me up. My knees are blocked.
And that's my bad right there. You got it, buddy.
I didn't want the kid to see. Oh. Thank you.
Our final tape is a broadcast from HBO Boxing with George Foreman and Jim Lampios.
What was the date of the Crocodile Dundee in L.A.? When was that?
It was released in 2001.
2001?
When was it taped?
Probably 6 or 9 months before the release.
Okay.
Let's turn to George Foreman, 2 times the heavyweight champion of the world. You were involved in a fight in Zaire that was controversial and almost didn't come off for a variety of reasons. Fight fans are happy that it did. What's your take on all of this?
I think they should leave Mike Tyson alone. The guy's in professional boxing. There's been a lawyer or a doctor. When they do something bad, you disband them, you bar them. You do the unspeakable. Tyson did the unspeakable. They didn't do that to him. Now let him alone. Let him fight. It's all. If Lennox Lewis want to fight him, let it be. Get a referee in the ring who's strong. Maybe I should referee that boxing match.
Are you
who can
interested
pull
in
them
refereeing
apart?
Are you interested in refereeing that boxing match?
No. But I think they should let the guy alone. Leave him alone. He's been exploited enough now. Let him fight. If you're going to give him a license, he didn't do anything any more than what Muhammad Ali and I did. Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. We've all got into these fights in press conference. That's no big deal. He's just doing the speakable. The unspeakable is what he did to Evander Holyfield. If he still has a license after that, let him alone. No, leave him alone.
All right. So that's full coverage of the heavyweight controversy from all the...
For the record, Mr. Chairman, let me make it clear that after that episode with Mr. Holyfield, he did not have a license. His license was revoked. So, just to make it clear that Mr. Foreman was a little incorrect.
And it sounded like Mr. Foreman thought it should be.
And that's what the Nevada State Athletic Commission at that time did. They revoked the license permanently.
We were, Dr. Lemansky, not presenting the tape as a factual presentation from him based on his vast experience and his position in boxing history, his opinion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll start with the Commissioner, Mr. Tony Alamo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I, too, want to thank Mr. Fess for coming, Mr. Finkel, and, of course, Mr. Mike Tyson. Mr. Tyson, you come before this commission because of your actions. You're a champion, and I can recall almost every one of your championship fights where I was when I saw them. This makes this situation very disturbing to be here today. Your actions have placed you here. Your actions have placed the sport of boxing on the ropes, and it'll be up to this commission to bring it back to center ring. It would be inaccurate and naive to think that I am not aware of the financial repercussions of a fight of this magnitude. The exposure to Las Vegas, the boost to the local economy, a city in which I grew up. But I can assure you that that is not part of my decision-making process. I remain undecided. This is about you. It's about health and safety. The health and safety of Mr. Tyson, the health and safety of his opponent, the referee, the spectators, and the people in your camps. It's about obeying the rules of boxing, the rules of Nevada. This is not about the scuffle that happened last week. This is about what happened after the scuffle, the recurrent theme. I don't condone what happened in terms of the scuffle, the face-off. We don't want that here. It's not good for boxing, and we're going to try very hard that doesn't happen again here in Nevada. I'm worried about what I saw afterwards. The poor impulse control, the lack of inhibition, the poor judgment. Mr. Tyson, I'm a physician and also a commissioner. You need to prove to me that you're in control of your emotions and in control of your life. I eagerly await the questions of the other commissioners and the answers to my questions, because you yourself got yourself into this position, and only you can get yourself out. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Alamo, MEAU.
Mr. Chairman, I have no statement to make. I have questions of Mr. Tyson. Is this the time that we're starting our questions?
It's okay with you, Bob? Yes.
Or do you want to give the other commissioners to make statements, or are we going into questions?
Well,
we're prepared
for Mike.
Mr. Chairman, to
go ahead and
respond to your lead.
First of all, I want to make it clear, Mr. Tyson, that I have the same concerns today that I had before the press conference. So there might be a disagreement of why we're here. I have questions. In fact, the weekend before the press conference, I was advised that you would not be available to us for questions, to the entire commission for questions at this scheduled meeting. And when I heard that, since I did have concerns, I called your advisor, Mr. Finkel, and requested that I be allowed to talk to you, as commissioners do all the time if they have a question of an applicant that maybe the other commissioners don't have. I will say one of the reasons that I thought that you would be here, there are a lot of quotes in 2000 when there was always talk that maybe you would come here to get a license again. Dr. Ghanem in 2000 was quoted as saying, I promise we'll make sure Tyson's behavior is acceptable and is in the best interest of boxing. We'll make sure that we go to his training camp. We'll make sure that we talk to him and his people, his manager, his trainers. Dr. Mack said whether it's going to be held in Nevada will be based on things we know about him. I'm not sure which way the board would vote on this. We have to look at Tyson in his last bout and his history. We have to look at it on good judgment based on what could happen. We don't want to have a repeat performance of breaking rules. It seems most of his fights have been controversial. Dr. Homansky said he will come before the 5 commissioners and he will be able to present a case of why he should be licensed. And the commission can ask any question they need to. There's other quotes from, in last time you were here, from Lorenzo Fertitta asking the AG that if you came back and deciding that day after the Norris event, they asked the AG in deciding whether or not to grant Mike Tyson a license again to box in the future again, is it fair to say we can bring up and look at his past actions? It just goes on. Every quote was indicating to me that if you ever came here for licensing, you would certainly appear before this commission. So I asked Mr. Finkel to give me that opportunity to talk to you, and he said that he doubted that would happen, that you would agree to that, but he would call you and ask you. He got back to me as he promised the next morning, which was Monday, the day before the press conference, and said that he talked to you and that you said that you would not talk to me. So that you would not communicate to me. And my first question, Mr. Tyson, is did Mr. Finkel relay directly to you that I wanted to speak to you?
Not that I know. You want to speak to me personally?
Yes. A commissioner can call an applicant and ask questions on licensing, or it happens all the time. You were not aware of that. I'm not going to get interrupted during my questions, am I, Mr. Chairman, from anybody else here?
We want to make sure we keep this not combative.
It's not combative. I'm asking if...
But I
was quoted as saying something which I'd like to answer. But I will wait if you want.
No, I'm fine.
I think we want to wait and continue the question.
No, I would like to know, Mr. Finkel, since I understood that Mr. Tyson would not talk, that I'd like to know.
Mike, from what I remember, you did call me. I returned your call. You said to me, will I be able to speak with Mr. Tyson? I said I will get back to you. I did not say I was going to ask Mr. Tyson. I asked our attorneys and other people involved with it.
My question was, would you... I will not argue the semantics. You know better. And you did call me back and say that he would not talk to me.
Yes, but
okay, so the point is that then you refused to have your client, Mr. Tyson, answer questions to a member of the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
On advice of our attorneys, yes.
Mr. Tyson, I think you should be aware of that. You might want to talk to your advisors and make sure that they are advising you in your best interest. I'm not absolutely not blaming you. I brought this up to make sure that you're aware of the fact that things might be being said that aren't true, or insinuations. You refused to take a mandatory drug test before the Galata fight, for reasons that only they know that commission decided to let that fight go on, maybe economic impact, but they let that fight go on. Could you just explain the circumstances that led up to you refusing to follow the rules of a commission that did license you?
No one made me aware that I take this test. I believe that I took the test already.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Could you just speak up?
No one approached me and told me I had to take a test. With my experience under the fighting, since I've been fighting 22 years, there's no way I would have been able to participate in the match without taking this drug test. So I couldn't understand why didn't they make a complaint that I didn't take this drug test.
You tested positive for marijuana after that fight?
That's what someone said.
The commission?
Yeah.
Do you smoke marijuana other than that, or that was that one time? Or?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm just that.
Let's keep it on. Bob,
Really, I
you
don't...
might want to interfere. We think we want to make sure that we keep this on the right program here.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, my apologies, Ms. A. My job here is to protect Mr. Tyson. I have not had any involvement in anything in which attorney was mentioned. But I think to be fair to him, the matter you mentioned in Michigan, there was the report of a positive test. Mr. Tyson's staff and attorneys were prepared to contest that as inappropriate and not the correct result. Michigan dropped that, did not pursue it. Mr. Tyson's been fighting for 22 years. As he said, there's no other occasion I know he's ever tested positive. He's fought here for 20 or 30 times, never tasted positive. And I just think it's inappropriate to suggest going into an area which there's no reason, where the state involved itself found no reason to go forward. With all due respect.
And with all due respect, I believe that I can ask any question, and if you answer, you answer, and if you don't, you have that right to.
Excuse me, a point of order. Keith, what is the guidelines on this? Where do you want to go with this?
Each commissioner has the right to ask any question they deem fit.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Tyson, legal advice, if Mr. Fest believes that Mr. Tyson has constitutional right not to answer that question, he can so state.
Okay, thank you. All right, continue on.
And I'll also say, because I resent the insinuation that any commissioner is trying to provoke anyone, but it's insulting to think that I can't, or any other commissioner can ask a question without fear that we will be accused of provoking someone. That's
I made no such accusation at all. So we had heard.
You brought it up, and now I brought it up.
More?
Yes, sir. I don't have a lot of questions, but I'd like to be able to ask my questions. Mr. Fest, did you state that we cannot talk about the recent trip to Cuba? Is that on the legal end, or just or also the behavior that was reported there, the violent?
We will not let Mr. Tyson respond to any question into that area. For him to answer it all may well be a waiver of his constitutional rights, and we simply ethically cannot admit that.
Because I'm sure nobody's making a political statement on whether it's, which side of the law, or if it's a law or anything else. It all goes to the core of behavior and of wanting to make sure, Mr. Tyson, that you are ready to follow rules and regulations. How can we be assured, Mr. Tyson, that if you're allowed to fight here, that you would follow the rules and regulations of this commission?
Well, this is the most important moment of my life as far as my fighting career is concerned. And this is something I'm truly interested in doing and being successful in. And I've been punished before severely for being within a fraction of the law with Vanya Holyfield, and I don't want to experience that again.
I know you're well aware of people, including myself, that have made comments, or I'm assuming you're aware of people that say they fear you, your behavior at times being able to incite problems. Dr. Ghanem in 1998 said to you that he was prepared to give you one last chance in Nevada if that's the will of this commission. But I warn you, I'm quoting Dr. Ghanem, through my view, this will indeed be the last chance. You must take the responsibility for yourself and act like the champion you once were. You will either conduct yourself in accordance with our rules and regulations, or you will probably never fight again in Nevada. We can't have riots. We can't have fights outside the boxing ring rules. Do you ever worry about that, about hurting an innocent person, inciting a riot?
That's not true at all. My intention is not to hurt anyone. My intention on that particular night, that particular day in New York, was I thought I was violated. I was struck, and I was humiliated and embarrassed, and I struck back.
And I understand. I'll just remind you, Mr. Tyson, I absolutely have the same questions today that I would have had that press conference not had any problems. When Dr. Ghanem said that was your last chance, you still had an incident where you admitted that you tried to break a fighter's arm after the first round. There was the Norris questions about hitting after a bell. Savarese, you hit after the bell, or after the referee had jumped in to stop the fight. The referee got knocked down at that time. There's just other incidences, so I'm not talking just about...
And some of those incidents, one incident concerning the referee. It was inappropriate what he did and stopped the fight. He didn't stop the fight the appropriate way, in which he was supposed to have grabbed me instead of the other guy, and he was around me. The other guy was down. He was about to stop the fight, which I wasn't aware of, and he didn't grab me. He should have grabbed me and pushed me off the referee, off the opponent.
With all due respect, you've been in a lot of fights, and if the referee has jumped in between you, don't you think that would be the time to stop fighting, stop hitting?
Oh, it was the heat of the moment. It was very difficult. It was a heated fight for me to stop at the time. As if fighting behind with Oli and Norris, it's almost impossible when the bell rings to stop a punch once it's in motion.
Well, some of those comments I made about from the quotes from the commissioners having concerns and wanting to talk to you were made after that fight. They were directly related to comments after that fight. Dr. Nave, in 1999, the last time that you appeared here, said, "I'm a little concerned in looking at the future of Mike Tyson being able to follow the rules. He particularly seems to have trouble right at the end of a round. Is he undergoing intentional medical treatment of controlling himself in situations like that?" He didn't receive an answer from Mr. Goosen at that time. Could you give me an answer to that?
Well, I'm not the only person in the history of the sport that ever hit someone after the bell. And I'm sure that's been happening in the 110-year history of this sport. And
I'm sorry, the question?
I didn't need no medical attention. That was just something that happened in the sport. I hit the guy after the bell. It wasn't something that was intentional. I've been hit after the bell too.
Well, I don't want to speak for Dr. Nave, but I think he was concerned with some more than one action and asking about your behavior and some uncontrolled violent behavior that you have shown. Are you on medication today? No, ma'am. I'm going to give my fellow commissioners opportunity to ask questions and then respectfully request that I have an opportunity to follow up. I do want to say that I know that we can't control situations, and I know that you're not the only one. I know that, in soccer games, other sports, violence can break out. But to me, there's a time that maybe we have to see that the patterns of uncontrolled violent behavior force us to look at how high that risk is of something happening. And our concern is safety. If you just give me 1 second. Just on the medicine, one more question. In an interview, you said Zoloft I'm on the Zoloft thing. I'm on that to keep me from killing y'all. It has really messed me up and I don't want to be taking it, but they are concerned about the fact that I'm a violent person, almost an animal, and they only want me to be an animal in the ring. We don't want you to be an animal in the ring. We want you to be a professional. And I have stated in other interviews that it's quite disgusting to me when I hear someone refer to you as an animal. And it's very sad to me to hear you referring to yourself like that. And I was happy to see in some of the transcripts that you said, I'm not an animal, I'm a human being. And I want you to know that I certainly recognize that. And if you need help...
It's really nice that you do, because I haven't been treated that way and I haven't been written about, like, people are concerned that I've been vilified as an animal. If you're really concerned about that and you really mean it, well, thank you very much.
I really do mean that. That doesn't mean that I think you're a victim. I think that you had tough times in your life, like a lot of people do. But I think you've had more chances than most people. Most of the kids that you counsel sometimes and help, they haven't had the chances and may never have the chances that you've had. They haven't had the opportunity to make the money. They have not had the opportunity to make close to $200 million in their career. So, Mr. Tyson, I think that I know you're a human being, but I also feel deeply that you are not a victim anymore. And
you, ma'am, the last name again?
Ayub.
Ayub, you don't know me, ma'am. You know if I'm a victim or not. You know nothing about me. You know only what you read. You don't know my horror stories. You know nothing about me. You don't know if I'm a victim or not.
I know my opinion of that people feeling that all of us. I'm not a victim either. I have to take responsibility for myself. And I just think all of us at some time have to take a responsibility for our own action. And that's just my opinion.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, Ms. Eddy, but he's prepared to respond to questions, and I cannot to express your feelings to him, Commissioner. I think I don't. Obviously, you can do anything you want, but I think and I see the other commissioners nodding. We mean no disrespect to you. He's prepared to answer the questions, but not debate with you as to which of you is correct about.
And he doesn't have to do that, but I also would just say that I'm not asking or saying anything that I haven't read in, mounds of transcripts from other people, and also other commissioners have had the opportunity to make statements. I'm finished with my time right now, and the other commissioners.
Thank you, Keith. I look for you to help us coordinate these legal briefings if you could. Thank you.
I think we skipped over. I'm sorry. I think we skipped over Dr. Alamo in terms of questioning. I think he was supposed to go first, and he just...
Well, Chairman, are you going to allow another chance at questioning?
I will allow Church. You go ahead,
okay.
John. I appreciate it.
Mr. Tyson, my name is John Bailey, and I've never seen you before. I'm fairly new to the commission, less than 30 days to be exact. I want to ask you a couple of medical questions, and I apologize if they're embarrassing to you. I mean no attempt to embarrass you in any respect, but in the prior hearings there were medical issues that came up, and I feel it's my obligation to make sure that I understand medically what's going on. When's the last time that you've been on medication?
I don't know, probably 6 months.
6 months? Was that pursuant to a physician's advice?
Yeah.
And who was the physician?
I believe his name was Dr. Barksdale.
Boxdale? Barksdale. In preparing for this hearing, I went back and looked at the prior hearing transcripts. One of the transcripts was back in October 19th of 1998. At that time, Dr. Schouten, do you remember him? He was one of the physicians from Harvard?
Yeah.
Dr. Schouten testified on page 17, it was our unanimous conclusion that Mr. Tyson is in need of and would benefit from psychotherapy. Do you remember that testimony? Then Dr. Schouten testified, we believe that, and this is on page 20, we believe that because of the impact of the current sanction, because of his commitment to returning to the ring, because of his commitment to his family and community and the importance of returning to boxing and earning a living, that he would be able to control his behavior in the situation and to develop new strategies. This is especially the case if he follows the recommendations with regard to treatment. Do you remember that?
I went through my treatment.
Okay. Do you remember what those recommendations were?
It's not on the top of my head, but I remember whatever the situation was. I went through the 6 weeks or whatever, 4-month process, and I guess I passed. So I'm no longer in need of it.
You indicate that you passed the treatment, and in all honesty, the treatment was not really described in detail at that hearing, but Dr. Dieters indicated at that same hearing, and let me just read you a portion of that. I'm not trying to surprise you, so I want to read to you exactly what was said. That's why we all emphasize the fact that he needs to have treatment for depression, and it was my conclusion that I felt if he did get very aggressive treatment for depression, if he was in psychotherapy and treated it seriously, went on a weekly basis and followed by a neuropsychologist, possibly a neuropsychologist. When I read that, and again, I wasn't there, but when I read that, I got the impression that the physicians were saying that there needed to be aggressive treatment both in the area of psychology, and there's some other excerpts here that talk about medication, and that you needed to go on a weekly basis. Did that in fact occur after October 1998, and has it been occurring to the present?
It has been occurring.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
It has been occurring, and it no longer occur because I'm no longer in need of the medicine. Everything okay?
How long did it occur from October of 1998 to what period of time?
Mr. Bailey, Mr. Tyson may not have a calendar in front of him. May I tell you he was in therapy weekly until May 2001.
Mr. Fest, are you prepared, or does your team have any information to support the weekly therapy that Mr. Tyson had from, I guess, October of 1998 till May of 2001?
Well, other than his testimony that occurred, Mr. Finkel, I'm sure will confirm that.
But there's no records. And I'm not saying that you have to have records. I'm just wondering, are there any records? And I'm concerned when it says weekly aggressive treatment. I guess what I'm searching for is to understand whether or not Mr. Tyson was in compliance with what these specialists had to say, or whether or not it was something that wasn't a consistent effort on his part. Can Mr. Tyson address that?
Well, Mr. Tyson does not keep his medical records. His doctor does, and maybe perhaps Mr. Finkel can give you some satisfaction. Our information is that he was in therapy weekly, and I assume according to the conditions stated, until his doctor told him it was no longer necessary.
And so it ceased in May of 2001?
That is our information.
And that was at the direction of Dr. Barksdale? Is that correct?
Yeah.
In the hearing in September of 1998, there was testimony from Dr. Reutman, and he testified that he, Dr. Goldberg, and Larry Curran were considered your medical team for impulse control issues. Are they still your medical team for that purpose?
No.
When did they stop being your medical team?
I can't tell you.
You have no idea?
No.
Well, can you tell me why they stopped being your medical team?
I don't know.
You might have to speak up just so
I have no idea. I guess they weren't needed any longer.
You did not make that decision? Is that what you're telling me? Or you say, I don't know. I'm wondering who was the one who made that decision?
I've used them for a period of time, and I guess when the period was over, I no longer used them.
Can you give me an idea, if you can recall, how...
I can't recall how long or what period, how many days I've seen them, anything. I just stopped using them. I wasn't aware of that.
Let me go back. What I did was, I tried to understand, based on the prior hearings, what was going on in terms of the different events and the controversies that have arisen. We all know about the Holyfield incident back in June of 1997. I have looked at a couple different articles, not only the transcripts, but also the exhibits that were attached to the transcripts. And your testimony, and let me just paraphrase it, was that you snapped. You used the word, I snapped. Do you remember that? With respect to the Holyfield incident. And you also indicated that you'll never let that happen again. One of the, and I assume that you still maintain that with respect to that Holyfield incident, it was something where you just snapped and what happened, happened.
Sure, Mr. Bailey.
Okay. In the September and October 1998 hearings, one of the issues that arose was the event that occurred in Maryland. And the members of the commission were concerned about the fact that that event had not been resolved. Can you tell me what in fact happened, either you or Mr. Finkel or any of your advisors, tell me what ultimately happened as a resolution to the Maryland event? I guess it occurred in August of 1998.
Mike pled no contest.
He pled no contest? Were there any penalties associated with his plea?
Let's give your name for the recorder.
Matthew Johnson. Mike, it was a, Mike, how long did you have to?
4 months, those people lied and I gave them a bunch of money.
And I appreciate your comments, but can you tell me what was the result of the no contest plea? Mr. Johnson, perhaps?
The result of the no contest plea was that Mike went to prison for 4 months.
They gave me 2 years for a lie.
Mike is referring to a deal with the prosecutor that there would be no jail time in return for a no contest plea.
So he had an understanding of a plea agreement.
There was a plea agreement, and then there was a change of prosecutors, and the new prosecutor chose not to honor the original deal.
And so the result was the judge ultimately gave him a 4-month sentence?
Correct. And had his legal advisors in Maryland at the time been aware that they were not going to honor the deal, there would not have been a no contest plea. But that's...
No, I understand. I appreciate that fact. I'm a lawyer by profession, but I'm not a criminal lawyer. But I understand what you're saying, and that makes sense to me.
Commissioner Bailey, if I may, just to clarify the record, he was charged with 2 counts, I believe, of assault. The judge sentenced him to a year on each count consecutively, then suspended 1 year of that sentence. So he had a 1-year sentence, and he was able to get out after 4 months on good behavior.
And Mr. Bailey, I have the whole recording here from that.
Okay. I accept your testimony, Mr. Tyson, on that point. One of the questions that I had, though, was in your hearing in October 98, you testified on page 76, line 14, I didn't really hit nobody. And if it was said I did it and I was unconscious of doing it, I'm sorry to you and everybody, to Mr. Hardick, I'm sorry. Is this another incident where perhaps you snapped in the same way that we've been talking about, where you talked about the Holyfield incident?
No. I was struck by 2 cars. I claimed I got out my car. I asked the people what was the problem, and he overtly lied in front of my face and said he didn't hit me. And I was angry. I was in the car with my wife at the time. She was hurt badly. I was hurt. And no one cared to ask us why we were hurt. The only thing, his main concern was, why did we stop here?
You know, and I don't have any problems with that. I assume that anyone who is in a car accident and it's not their fault, they become very angry. So I don't have any problem with that. I was just concerned about the testimony where you used the word unconscious of doing it. And I'm trying to understand, is this a similar situation where maybe when you use the word unconscious, maybe it's similar in terms of it, you snapped. You used the word snapped in the Holyfield incident. I'm wondering if...
I know I didn't snap on the snap.
Okay. Very well. The Francois Botha event here in Nevada in January of 1999, it's my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that you admitted that you attempted to break Mr. Botha's arm.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a situation where you snapped or you lost control of your impulses?
Mr. Botha was fighting dirty inside, hitting me and holding me and grabbing me. And then to avert that, I twist his arm to have him get off me.
In October of 1999, also here in Nevada, there was some controversy regarding the Olin Norris fight. You remember that?
Yeah.
And the controversy, as I understand it, was that you hit Mr. Norris after the bell had rung. Can you tell me your mental state in terms of how that sequence occurred?
Yeah. By any chance, did you happen to witness that fight?
I've seen pictures of it.
Well, if anyone's a fighting person, which I'm sure you are because that's why you're commissioner, you would see that I hit that gentleman with a very light blow after the bell. My punch was in motion, I couldn't stop it. The punch wasn't hard at all. He didn't hurt his leg. It was a forest. He wasn't hurt. He wanted to stay down. He didn't want to continue fighting. And the commissioners here who are experienced commissioners heard, I'm sure if you listen to the audio you hear, his corner tell him to stay down and let's get him disqualified. It was just, it was a joke. It was just a big joke. He didn't come there to win. He came there to just lay down and pick up a paycheck and probably get a disqualification and get a rematch. It was all a big joke. Everyone, you know what I mean, to the naked eye, it was just obvious to see it was a big joke. But still, I dealt with the ridicule of it and it became my fault.
In January of 2000, you had a fight in England, as I understand it, with Julius Francis.
Yeah.
It was non-controversial, correct?
I don't know what it was.
I mean, you don't recall there being any controversy, do you? And then after that, and I'm kind of going in sequence in terms of your boxing history, at least after 1998, you fought Lou Savarese in Scotland, as I understand it, on June 24th, 2000. And the controversy, as I understand it, is that you failed to stop punching Mr. Savarese after the fight had ended, and in fact, the referee got knocked down. Do you remember that controversy?
The referee got knocked out?
Got knocked down.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay. Is this a situation, and I'm talking about the Savarese fight, where you believe you lost a little bit of control after the fight had been stopped, or do you feel as though you were completely in control of what you were doing?
I was totally in control of the fight.
And in terms of failing to stop punching after the bell had, not the bell, after the fight had been stopped, in response to Commissioner Ayub's question, I believe regarding that same fight, you said it was the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
You'll have to talk up, I can't hear you.
Yes, it was.
And by the heat of the moment, do you mean that the heat of the moment caused you to do something that you otherwise would not have done?
Well, I'm explaining the heat of the moment. Anyone, including yourself, will do things which is normally not meant to be done. That's why it's the heat of the moment.
Next, there was the Andrew Galata fight in Michigan in October of 2000. And we talked a little bit about the controversy. You responded to some questions by Commissioner Ayub. I wasn't very clear on your response, and let me just ask you just questions. Do you recall being requested to take a pre-fight drug test?
No.
Okay.
If I can add some clarity to that, because I was very involved in that.
Please.
Mike, in all of his professional fights, in Nevada and elsewhere, the drug test was after the fight. Mike did not refuse to take the test. He, in fact, took it after the fight. The request to take the test before the fight was not made to Mike. It was made to Mike's security. Mike's security did not want Mike to be bothered before the fight. So Mike was not aware that the commission was asking him to take the test. None of Mike's representatives were aware. It was all of our understanding, silly.
It was James Anderson who did it.
Right, but it was your understanding that the test would be after the fight. Mike did not refuse to take the test after the fight. He took the test after the fight.
As I understand what you testified to, or what your counsel has indicated, you were prepared to dispute the results of the test.
Absolutely.
But that dispute never occurred?
It never occurred because the state of Michigan dropped it almost immediately.
The next event I have is the fight that took place in Denmark on October of 2001, the recent fight against Brian Nelson, and as I understand that, that was a fight that was controversy-free. I see Mr. Finkel. You almost got nervous, didn't you?
You almost, before you said free, go ahead.
Which brings us to the press conference last Tuesday. As I understand the physical altercation issue, it's your position that there was a script involved and that you had been told to do certain things. Can you tell me exactly what you were told prior to walking out on the stage, and who was the individual who told you that information?
Shelley Finkel.
Please, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Shelley Finkel instructed me to come on the podium when they called my name, to face Lennox Lewis, and to go towards him. I believe that we were supposed to face off.
And as I saw the film, and it was accurately described by your counsel, as I saw the film, in fact, someone associated with Mr. Lewis, in fact, made the first contact.
No, he struck me.
He struck you, and that was the arm movement against your body?
Yes.
And the next thing that I recall happening is your left, I use the word left hook, where you missed the gentleman, and then everything went crazy.
Exactly.
Okay. Tell me about the verbal comments and the gestures that happened after that. And tell me, I'm really interested in your state of mind when all of that happened.
Oh, I'm going to give you a clear view of my state of mind right now.
Please.
After the mayhem, I came out, and there was a gentleman, he said something very offensive to me. It was humiliating, it was embarrassing, and my response to that was to thrust back the same pain that he's given me. And so I tried to humiliate him just like he humiliated me. And at that time, I didn't care if I was right and wrong, because I think he violated me as an individual, and then in return, I violated him. And it was his liberty to say what he said to me, and I feel it was my liberty to say what I said to him.
In the October 1998 hearing, you had several people speak on your behalf. One of the individuals who spoke on your behalf was Irving Magic Johnson.
Yes.
Remember that? And Mr. Johnson indicated that he wanted to take on the role of the late Customato in your life, and he wanted to advise you about financial matters and life skills. Do you remember him making those comments? Can you describe your relationship with Irving Magic Johnson after that hearing?
Me and Irving's always been close friends since the middle 80s, and we just always been fond of one another and good friends.
Can you tell me, after October of 1998, what role Mr. Johnson has played in terms of your financial matters?
Well, he played no particular role in my life, because Irving's my friend, and that's how I like to leave our relationship as friends.
I have nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Dr. Vomansky.
Thank you.
Just 1 second. Are we okay in paper over there? I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll try to be brief. I hate the circus atmosphere we're in, and you know, whoever's at fault for putting us in this situation, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for all of us here, and that's the first point. The second point, Counselor, going back to Michigan, the only point you left out is the Michigan Commission dropped that only after y'all paid $200,000. That was the only part left out of that. But
there was a $200,000 donation that Mike made to charity, and it's. I don't think it's fair to say that the $200,000 was in return for them dropping that.
I'm sure the charity appreciates that from Mike. My experience with Mr. Tyson, I think, is as great as anyone in the ring. I've been the ringside physician for 16 of your fights, starting in 85, 86. I was there at the Holyfield fight, at the Bota fight, and most of your major fights. I helped this commission set up the evaluation by Mass General and Dr. Shalvin and Dr. Goldberg. And I just wish things had gone better.
So do
I know. I from the bottom of my heart, I wish things had gone better. My only question is that last Tuesday, if one of our referees had been there at the press conference and had tried to come between you and Lennox, would you have listened? Would you have been able to control your rage, control the impulses that you had, and listen to the officials there?
Well, it's easy to, I can easily say yes, I would have handled myself in a dignified manner. But, you know what I mean, it's a catch-22. You have to put yourself in the actual position of what happened here. You know what I mean, if he was in between us, the situation would have never happened. The bodyguard, a situation with Lennox trying to sucker punch me. This altercation got out of hand because I believe somebody did more than what he was supposed to do, and he got a little excited, else he received the wrong information, which I believe I perhaps did as well, and it became a miscommunication problem. And my intention wasn't to hurt no one, wasn't to inflict pain on anyone, and especially not the champion or anybody associated with him. And I definitely wouldn't want to inflict any pain on a referee or the official concerned, connected with the commission or anything. This is just something that is really bad that happened. It was humiliating. It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed. That's why I struck out against the reporter the way I did, because I was embarrassed. And it was just a horrible situation. I wish it never happened. I wish certain people who I love and I cherish, I wish they never seen me in that particular mode, because they never seen me like that, and it frightened them. And it's just it was just a bad day that day, and that's something I'm going to have to deal with, regardless if I get my license back or anything. I'm going to have to deal with that for the rest of my life, and I'm going to have to explain it to my kids, my nephew, my nieces, and it's going to be pretty tough explaining it, because I'm a grown man at this stage, at that stage of my life, and they're going to want to comment on how old I was and why did I conduct myself like a 15-year-old or 18-year-old, and that's going to be really difficult telling people who I love, because the history doesn't lie. I mean, that's going to be around for another 200 years. It's going to have to be explained. There'll be other people, and they may even surpass that as far as foolishness and obscenity. But as of now, I'm going to have to deal with the head of the food barrel or the food chain. So I'm willing to deal with that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kompomansky.
Mr. Chairman, I didn't get a chance to ask a few questions. May I?
No, I'd like to hear my comments.
Excuse me, go ahead.
If you don't mind.
That's fine.
How you feel, Mike?
I feel wonderful. How about yourself? It's rough out here, man. It's rough.
It seemed like we were just kind of hammering at the moment. We're trying to find the truth. Dr. Margaret Goodman has always said she liked to see the protection of the well-being of the fighter. And my concern was to HBO, Showtime, Shirley Finkel. What happened? No security, nobody around. Anybody can walk on the stage, and all this broke out. To me, they're just as guilty. More so. If you're the fighter, and they're your handler, why is there no security? And you've been given this here little thing as a face-off. That automatically is for damage. And Shelley, how does that happen today, especially Shelley, when our office call somebody and said, be careful, and warn you that there could be a potential danger or problem?
Should I comment?
Please.
Okay. This event is a unique event. It's the first time that two networks have worked together, and that was HBO and Showtime. They were the ones who picked the Hudson Theater. They were the ones in charge of putting everything together. It was important to them to get a picture of the two fighters together because they thought that for publicity purposes it would be great. I went to Mike and I said, Mike, are you open to do it? And he said, yes. I said, would there be any instances if you're doing it? He says, none at all. As a matter of fact, I went to Anthony, who is his security also, and asked him, and Anthony said there won't be any from our side at all. I went back to Marina, who is our representative from Showtime. She went with HBO, and they got permission, I believed, from the HBO side for Lennox. Came back. I said to Mike, you'll go on the dais, on the stage, you'll go on the riser, you'll come off the riser, you'll stand in Lennox's face, we'll take the photos, then we'll get up on the dais and we'll all sit down. And you saw what happened after that.
I just think it's a terrible tragedy that something wasn't prevented. Mike, let me take you back to the Holyfield situation. And this may not have been the smartest action on my part, but I was in the ring after the event happened. And you know, I was face to face. Like I said, I might not be too bright at that time, but you were angry. And I was there. And I was the only one that voted for Mills Lanes in that fight. Because actually, they correct me on this, Halpern was supposed to do that fight, right? Rich Halpern. And I was a Lone Ranger, and I voted to put Mills in that lane, in that fight, because I thought that the fight might have been tough. But as angry as you were, I felt no threat, no danger at that point. I think sometimes you send out bad vibes, maybe because you act, maybe because of the way you look. But I think the commission here is asking some questions of humanity. What kind of person you are. Now, Amy, you've asked about kind of your lifestyle. I don't know your lifestyle. I know mine. I know where I come from. But it's time to make a change. You said you're a man. That brings back a lot of responsibility. That's a big thing. A man's not one that just goes with kids. He has a responsibility to the people around him and to this commission. What we're trying to do here today is trying to get some assurity that this will never happen again because we protect the state of Nevada. We're the one that work for the state. A lot of people never want to see you fight again. Want to see you banned from boxing. That's all you see on the news. There's very few people that you see on the news that support you. And probably Shelley and probably your handlers and probably your attorneys have told you that. So we're looking today to find out was the real Mike Tyson. The event that happened last week was a tragedy. And you said today that you're embarrassed by that. But from time after time, the anger occurred. What can you say to us today to convince us that that will never happen again?
Well, I could assure you, as far as I'm concerned, on my behalf and my conduct as a gentleman of the sport, you will never see or hear of that happening from me again. As of this day, I give you my word. But what do you do about other jealous fighters that may be an antagonist towards me? So what do I do? Normally when some event happens concerning me, they make a big stink over it. I'm just an average guy. And there's been people that have done just as equal, if not worse, as myself. And I don't really care if they do it, whatever, because I'm not Mother Teresa, and I'm not Charles Manson either. But just treat me equal. You know, I don't care if your guys ban me for life, but just ban somebody else that does the same thing. You know what I mean?
Well, Mike, you and I both know sometimes the laws are not that way. Sometimes we have to be bigger.
What's the use of having them then if they're not that way? Well, why limit my liberty if I can't, you know what I mean? How can I possess liberty if you're going to limit it?
Well, sometimes life leans on you. And sometimes we're saying you as a professional fighter have to understand you're out in the limelight. Everybody wants a piece of you. And that's unfortunate. And you pay the price when everybody can have to you. That's fame and that's fortune. So you have to relate to the fact is, this is life. I'm going to be better than they are. I'm going to be bigger than they are. I'm not going to yield to that type of humanity or that support or that meanness. And I think that's what I'm trying to say to you today. You've got to change the way of doing business. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I go back to the time that we had the hearing. And I was one of the guys that asked the hard questions about Indiana. I was going to ask your doctors. And what I want to know, Mike, without having anybody on your staff, who are your real friends? Do you have friends that you can talk to? You have a group you can sit down and converse with without those people being on your staff? You know, you hang out with, you play football. They'll really be candid with you and tell you the rights, wrongs, the good, or be your second set of eyes for you. Do you have some people like that?
I don't have one friend in my entire life. My experience in life produced the person that I am. And the person that I am, I was never successful with friends.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
Dr. Olo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's been very enlightening for me to see how these things have unfolded in the line of questionings that have been done by the fellow commissioners. And the last question was actually one of my questions that I truly, truly needed to know, and you answered it. The question was, who do you lean on? Who are your friends? Your response is, I have no friends. I came into this room today with an open mind, with the burden of proof being on you to prove yourself. Boxing will be fine when Mike Tyson leaves boxing. The question is, will Mike Tyson be fine when boxing leaves him? I've grown up the first 35 and a half years of your life. You've seen where you've been, what you've done. And I'm very concerned on the next 35 and a half years of your life from this point forward. My line of questionings have all been answered. At this time, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to entertain a motion if you want.
I don't.
Well,
no? Okay, that's fine.
Well, there's some more questions, but the Commissioner Amy Ayub.
Then I'll rest.
And then thank you very much for your comments. And then John Bailey has additional questions.
I have no further questions.
You have no further questions.
Chairman.
Okay.
I know that surprises you.
It shocks me, quite frankly. Yeah.
No, I didn't know what other questions there were, but...
Go ahead.
First, Mr. Fess, I appreciate that you allowed Commissioner Szymanski and the others to just share their feelings and not only ask questions as you were limiting me to. But, Mr. Tyson, I just wanted to say that you asked a good question. Why have laws if we're not going to enforce them? That's an excellent question, and I hope we help answer that today. You know, I did have a follow-up when I was interrupted before. I was meaning to ask a question about that quote on Zoloft, but, and let me just finish my question. Your quote on Zoloft that, and I won't read it again, about that's what keeps you from killing someone, and I understand that you might not want to take that literally, but if you're not on medication now, how are you handling that?
Medication?
Pardon?
How am I not handling being on medication?
How are you handling, controlling your...
Controlling not being on medication?
No.
Oh, what?
How are you handling your tendency for uncontrolled violent behavior that the medications are helping, that you have stated the medications were helping, if not?
I'm doing great. I was doing magnificent until that guy hit me the other day. I really was. I was doing great.
Mr. Chairman, I have no other questions, but I'm just asking, we do have time for our statement before.
Yeah, we certainly thank you for your comments.
And I'd ask one thing. Keith, did you read in the statutes number 3 under, I'm sorry if you did, under 467.100?
The chairman did, I believe.
I read that beginning.
The what, number 3?
Yes, I read
The chairman read the first half of that at the beginning.
Number 3? Okay, thank you. Apologize.
That's okay. Spice, you have any other comments before we have our last statements here?
Mr. Chairman, you've heard a lot today. I think my words were by far the least important. Impressed by the fairness of the commission both before and during the hearing. Mr. Tyson is able to speak for himself. I think he has spoken most eloquently. You people, by your experience, what you've demonstrated today, your talent, are the ones in the best position to decide. I cannot add anything to Mr. Tyson's fitness other than what he has shown you today under the most trying of circumstances. We thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. I know you have to say something. Go ahead.
I just have one question. It's actually to our chairwoman of the Medical Advisory Board. Do we know whether or not Mr. Tyson is physically fit to participate in a professional boxing match?
I believe the commission has records to the effect that were submitted beginning in June of last year on behalf of Mr. Tyson that included studies like an MRI, an EEG, and some lab work. As a part of our examinations that we require for an over 36 or 36 and over fighter, he would have to undergo some additional tests. And typically what the commission has done in the past is any fighter with any prior history of medical problems, what I would do is conduct a discussion with any of his healthcare professionals that he's been with in the past year or so. And then with that information, defer to the commission as far as additional tests that might be needed to determine whether or not he would be physically fit to box at that time.
Dr. Minette, physically and mentally fit, there might be some tests, as we've asked other people.
That would depend on, I'm sorry to interrupt you, that would depend on discussion with his healthcare professionals, either psychologists, psychiatrists, or family physicians, whoever has treated him. I'm sure they would be happy to give us the information of who he's been with, and we would contact them and collect that information, and at that time determine what was necessary, and I would confer with the commission as far as what they would also want to seek, and then we would proceed accordingly.
Thank you. But to let you know, Bailey, I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy like that, you know what I mean? I might want to have sex in a crazy place, but I don't want to kill or rape nobody or hurt nobody.
I hope you don't take my comments to suggest that you're crazy. My comments were based on, in large part, the October 1998 hearing where you came with a whole battery of physicians from Harvard, and there was extensive evaluations done.
The only reason I brought those physicians because your guys needed warrant that I wasn't mentally stable.
I understand, but I'm saying a lot of those questions that I asked you in that area have come from the fact that that hearing, there was a lot of emphasis placed on a plan going forward in terms of what you would do and recommended treatment.
It's really embarrassing, the whole world.
I know it's embarrassing, and trust me, really, I do not want to place you in a position where you're embarrassed. I apologize to the extent that you feel that way.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
I have one more comment since they...
Excuse me 1 second. Shelley.
Earlier on in Amy's comments from the last hearing, the one back in '98, I guess, you had asked about us keeping in touch with the commission on a regular basis. There was something in there that we would and keep them updated what was going on with Mike. And if you read your notes or whatever you...
I know my notes. I didn't particularly say that, but go on.
I thought you had.
I have my notes, Mr. Finkel, please.
Okay. Because we...
I didn't call you a liar.
No.
Okay. Go on.
What I
might have asked that question, but go on.
Okay. It was not meant to be confrontational. What I thought you had asked or said is that we said we would continue to be keeping the commission appraised of how Mike was doing and what was going on. And we had been in touch quite thoroughly with Dr. Ghanem, and Mike had visited Dr. Ghanem, and Mark I would call regularly to tell him, even when we weren't fighting in Nevada, where we were, how Mike was doing, where we were going, and we did that on a continuous basis. That was what I was getting at.
And I appreciate that. My comments were that around just my expectations that even if this press conference hadn't happened, that there were expectations that Mr. Tyson would appear before us. Mr.
That was what I was referring to.
Mr. Hamansky, Commissioner Hamansky,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
said at the beginning of at the very beginning, you made a point to say that this was not about the press conference.
Right.
So, could
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
could I just assume that you thought that he would be appearing before this commission also? Or?
I can't tell you I thought he would be appearing in person, but there is no question in my mind that even if the 22nd hadn't happened, these questions would need to have been asked.
You have some more comments?
No.
I'm going to not comment on his last statement, kind of joking statement.
Mr. Chairman,
seriously joking, though.
Can you entertain a motion?
Hold on 1 second. Mike, you have some comments?
No, I was just saying I wasn't the person that you guys were actually not meaning to portray, but actually portrayed from your last, from what you read from your sheet.
I feel really kind of a personal obligation to, since you did make kind of a joke and throw up rape, and we've been very respectful of the law and not talking about anything that, we understand that anybody can say anything, and we respect a presumption of innocence until proven guilty, but there's also guilty when proven guilty, and you've stated that you have had that conviction in the past, so it just bothered me a little bit when you throw that away in laughter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Alamo?
Mr. Chairman, at this time, if you'd like to accept an entertaining of a motion.
I'm sorry, I thought we had statements. Those were questions.
I'm sorry, okay.
Did you have a statement?
Excuse me?
I thought you indicated we were going to take a 5-minute recess and then come back.
At this point in time, and I allow the court recorder to change the paper there, so we'll take 5 minutes recess, come back in our last statement, and I want to move forward. I want to be out of here about 4 o'clock.
Could be even earlier.
Thank you. Let's give him leeway.
So you heard Dr. Luther Mack, the chairman of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, calling a recess for 5 minutes, also saying he would like to have this particular hearing wrapped up by 7 o'clock Eastern Time. It is going on nearly 2 hours since Mike Tyson's hearing to reinstate his boxing license has begun. Just to summarize some of the things we heard today, commissioners each given an opportunity to ask Mike Tyson questions. Some asked more than others. Dr. Flip Hemansky had just one question for him, while Amy Ayub, one of the other commissioners, spent quite a bit of time, asked for assurances that Mike Tyson could abide by the commission's rules. When asked about that, Tyson said, quote, "It's the most important moment of my life as far as his boxing career as concerned." He's also asked many times about medication he may or may not be taking. You may recall quotes attributed to Mike Tyson about the medication Zoloft and why he was on it. Tyson said he has not been on medication for approximately 6 months or so. He was asked about medical caregivers. He was asked about his behavior at last week's news conference, the one which resulted in the melee with Lennox Lewis. That, of course, was the news conference to promote the fight Mike Tyson is hoping to stage in Las Vegas April 6th. It's a scheduled heavyweight title fight in Las Vegas. We should also point out that one of the reasons we're having this hearing is because Mike Tyson is over the age of 35. Under Nevada state law, any fighter over the age of 35 must seek to regain his boxing license. What is going to happen now is when the recess has ended, the commission will return. Each commissioner has an opportunity to make a final statement. Under the rules of the commission, however, they cannot leave the room. In interest of full disclosure, there will be no deliberation amongst the commissioners. They make a statement, then must make their vote in public. Mike Tyson needs 3 of those 5 commissioners to vote in his favor to reinstate his boxing license and facilitate that fight in April. We want to know what you think about Mike Tyson. You don't have a vote on the commission, but you do have a vote on ESPN.com. Do you think Mike Tyson should be allowed to fight in Nevada? Those of you who have been with us over the last 2 hours or so, you've heard the evidence from both sides and heard the questions asked so far. 60% of you say yes, Iron Mike should be allowed to fight in Nevada, which would make that April 6th title bout with Lennox Lewis happen. Thanks to all of you who voted on ESPN.com, and we will send you back out to Las Vegas in just a bit here on ESPN News. Stick with us. Meantime, the Nevada State Athletic Commission currently in recess. We'll get you back out to Las Vegas for the conclusion of the Mike Tyson hearing after this here on ESPN News. Well, the Nevada State Athletic Commission has returned from a 5-minute recess in Las Vegas, ready to make final statements and presumably vote on Mike Tyson's boxing license to fight in Nevada. Let's go back out there live.
Mr. Tyson, you recently in your apology said that you're not a role model, and I respect your statement. When you were young, who you said before, that you had some fighters that were great fighters that were role models for you that influenced you to get into the game. And maybe they didn't really consciously want to be your role model, but they were. That just happens with fame. Another thing I want to touch on is that there's been a lot of talk about what we can consider, what we should consider in making this decision, the economic impact or press conference behavior, anything, you know. And I just want to comment that one of the things that's weighing heavily on my decision is the young men and women out there who want to get into boxing, who are training right now. Maybe not right now, they're probably watching this, but they're training with, and our decision today is probably going to affect them more than anybody else. You know, they're training with coaches and trainers who go to extraordinary efforts to teach them the importance of following the rules and regulations. They teach them the importance of, in this sport and in life, of respect for ourselves and each other. They teach them a lot of times that this sport is an opportunity for a better life, much like you said the Customato taught you. So what are we going to do? You know, are we going to validate those lessons and say that good behavior, that fighting within the rules, living within the rules will be rewarded? Or are we going to say that uncontrolled violent behavior will be rewarded with multi-million-dollar paydays? I just want to be able to look at them and say that we will not tolerate this type of behavior, Mr. Tyson. Not in boxing and not in Nevada. And Dr. Nave, in 1998, and we talked recently, still believes that, I'll quote, he said that he felt that only if you're not allowed to fight will you get the help that you need. And I agreed with him then, and I agree with him now. Thank you for being here, and thank you for answering the questions.
Thank you for your time, ma'am.
Any other comments?
Yes, sir. You want me to go next?
Well, you have a statement?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Tyson, let me tell you the context in which I proceeded in thinking about what we're doing here today and your responses to the questions and what I've reviewed. You are not here today as a new applicant. You are a prior licensee with a disciplinary problem back in 1997. In July of 97, you were found guilty of unsportsmanlike conduct and conduct which was deemed to be a discredit to boxing. And your license in Nevada was revoked for life. You were also fined $3 million. You served at least a year, and you made another application for the reinstatement of your license. This commission reinstated your license in October of 1998. That decision, in my view, was necessarily based on you having met your burden of proving your general suitability, character, integrity, and ability to hold a privileged boxing license in the state of Nevada for the calendar year 1999. While I was not on the commission back then, I understand and respect that decision. Your license then expired at the end of 1999. While I start my analysis from the beginning of 1999 to the present, as a prior licensee, the 1997 disciplinary matter is clearly a part of the landscape that must be considered. I also note two very important points. The first is that you, as the applicant, have the burden of proof under NRS 467.100. I also note that the receipt of a boxing license in the state of Nevada is a privilege. It's not a right. I have gone back and I have thoroughly reviewed all of the transcripts. I've looked at every document that's been attached to those transcripts because I wanted to understand what has happened with respect to you as a prior licensee. I want to tell you that your demeanor here today, I believe to be exemplary. I understand only from a distance the scrutiny that you're under. I understand only from a distance the embarrassment that you might feel today. You said it was the worst day of your life. If you'll recall, back in 1997 and 1998, you also made a similar comment about how bad this scrutiny has been on you, and it was one of the worst days in your life. So I applaud you in the way that you have conducted yourself here today. It is not easy. None of us will ever understand how difficult it is, particularly from a medical perspective, when your life is laid open for everyone to view. You have been assisted by Mr. Fess, who I have personally worked with, and I see Mr. Kennedy here as well, another individual that I've worked with in the past. They are two of the finest attorneys in this country. You have a very able legal staff. They have always met my expectations, and today is no exception. I applaud you and them on a fine presentation. Your life is surrounded by controversy. Wherever you go, there's controversy. You're not unique. We can all think of other athletes, we can think of other business people, and we can think of politicians that wherever they go, there's controversy. Everything you do, everything you say is scrutinized. And when I say that your life is always one which is surrounded by controversy, I don't mean to say that it is your fault. A lot of the controversy that you find yourself in, I firmly believe, is not your fault. I believe that other people provoke you. I believe that because you've been the world champion at one point in time, it kind of goes with the territory. It goes with the territory of being a public figure. It's perhaps the price you pay. Because of your ability and your determination, you have risen to the very top. And you have shown that you have been able to overcome many adversities, starting from a very early age. When I was looking at one of the hearing transcripts from July, I believe it was, of 1997, a lady came before the commission and spoke on your behalf. And she said that that because of Mike Tyson, there are at least 10 kids in Southern Nevada that are in college because he provided financial support to them. She also indicated that you have donated thousands of dollars to local Nevada charities. And I applaud you for that. It shows that you're a humanitarian and that your heart is in the right place. I also note that you talked about your family at those prior hearings. You talked about just trying to be a good dad and trying to be a good, I don't know if you use the word role model, but someone who can be good to his kids. I too am a family man, and I understand that, and I appreciate that, and I applaud that as well. I've been told that there are few people who know the history of boxing better than you. To me, that indicates that you have an appreciation and a respect for this sport. Deep inside, I sense that you're a good person. I have a lot of respect for you. I believe, as we saw, or as I read from the 1998 hearings, that there are certain flaws. But you should never feel bad about certain flaws, because we all have flaws. If you look around you, everyone in this room has certain flaws. That only makes you human. As a person, as a human being, I will always root for you to overcome life's challenges. For the first 11 years of your boxing career, you had relatively few problems. And I'm speaking of from March of 1985 through November of 1996. Thereafter, you had 7 professional bouts, of which 5 have been marred in some type of controversy. There is also the motor vehicle accident in Maryland, which I now understand you made a no contest plea and that you did 4 months in jail. And there was also the event last week, the physical altercation and the altercation after that. From my view, the physical altercation was not unique to Mike Tyson. We have seen similar occurrences in the past. We saw the Lewis Rockman physical altercation. It is unfortunate. It should never happen. Our executive director, Mark Ratner, has said that it was preventable. I agree with him. Preventable. I agree with him. Fortunately, no one was seriously injured. While I hold you responsible for part of that physical altercation, I believe that there were others who were equally responsible, if not more responsible. What happened after the physical altercation, I have concerns about. The language you used, the gestures that you made, in my view, were inappropriate, they were unnecessary, and they were very offensive. They were also very well, let me say this. I understand that you felt provoked, and I take that as a truth, that you did feel provoked by the reporter who was in the audience. But your response, in my mind, was so disproportionate to any level of provocation, particularly given that you are a professional. You're a professional boxer. I also understand trash talking. Some will say that trash talking is a part of the promotional tool that's used to get a fight hyped. But in my view, trash talking typically happens between opponents. It doesn't happen between an opponent and someone in the audience. I'm concerned about what I saw in your exchange with that reporter. Because you are a professional athlete, your actions, whether in the ring or out of the ring, have an impact on the sport of boxing. I have seen through the different tapes about the incidents after 1998 what I would refer to in a non-medical sense as uncontrolled rage. I understand, and I have no illusions, that the sport of boxing is a violent sport. It's a violent sport, but it's violent when people use uncontrolled rage. In my view, you have to have rage. The only way you're going to get to the top, the only way you're going to accomplish your goal, I believe there's some element of rage that's involved. But the rage has to be controlled. When you have uncontrolled rage, you put people's lives in jeopardy. You put the referee's life at stake, you put your opponent's life at stake, and you put people's lives who may get in the ring to try to help the situation at stake. The reason you have to have controlled rage is because, in my view, at the time that you stop between rounds is a time when you have to exercise control over your rage to stop. At the time when the referee stops in the middle of a round to give one boxer or the other instructions, you have to be able to control your rage in order to stop, listen, and understand those instructions. You have done very good things for boxing. You have been a champ. You have done charitable things. I believe you have tarnished, though, and I believe you have diminished the sport and the profession. I have also noticed that when everything is at stake, you still are unpredictable and capable of the very worst conduct. In totality, I look at the events that have occurred since 1998. They are not isolated events, and there appears to be a pattern of behavior that has the effect of showing a complete disrespect for others and the profession. I believe, based on what I've read, that you took the reinstatement of your license in 1998 for granted. When I read the transcript about what happened in the 1998 hearings, I came to the conclusion that there was a plan that was going to be in place. There was going to be a medical treatment plan. There was going to be a plan in terms of Magic Johnson being your advisor and helping you financially. And I look to you because you sat through those hearings and you understood and heard what people were saying about aggressive treatment, psychotherapy on a weekly basis, medication that's needed. You heard all of that. When I read that in the transcript, and then I transposed that against what happened in the bouts from 1999 to the present, one of two things in my mind occurred. Either you were in full compliance with the plan, the medical treatment plan, in which case it tells me that the doctors that you dealt with had the wrong plan. They came up with the wrong plan, because if you were on that plan and you fully complied with it, and we still have these events where I think you demonstrated uncontrolled rage, then these people were completely wrong. Or you disregarded the plan when you walked out of that hearing. I've heard testimony from you that you've had some care and treatment. You've indicated that some physician, Dr. Barksdale, told you that you don't need treatment anymore. He is not a name of any physician, to my understanding, that was around in 1998. I understood that there would be a team of people that would help you stay in compliance with your treatment plan. Everyone said if he stays with his plan, we think he's fit for professional boxing. Some kind of way, that didn't happen in my view.
Please?
Yes.
You're mistaken. I did go through with my plan. You continue to say that I haven't gone through the process of going through what the doctors had ordered me to do, and that's not true. I've done everything which the doctor said do, and it's the reason why I believe Dr. Barksdale is on that paper there and wasn't on the initiative of the rest of the doctors is because I believe it was transferred from the doctors from Massachusetts. I was staying in Arizona, so I believe I had to find a doctor and find therapy in Arizona, and that's why the two were transferred from the Massachusetts doctors to the Arizona doctor.
I accept that, which only means to me that whatever that plan was, it didn't work. And I expect that the people around you should have recognized that, and ultimately you're the one who's responsible. We're here because of your suitability. We're not here because of the people around you.
But Mr. Bailey, I applied to everything the doctors asked me to do. Everything they had me do, I accomplished it. I went through all the tests. I went through all the process of paying for my medication, reading my pamphlets, and I'm just going through my basic everyday therapy. Every two times a week therapy I was going.
And I accept that. But what that means to me is that it didn't work, because from 1998, the beginning of 99 forward, we have a series of events which are very dissimilar from what has occurred in your life in the first 11 years. That concerns me. And I understood going forward from the 1998 hearing that you and the people around you would comply with something. And if that had occurred the way the physicians told the commission, if you had complied with the plan, and I'm not suggesting that you didn't, then I believe that the events that we've seen since that time would not have occurred, because that's what they led that commission to believe. I believe that because of what has occurred, because of the context in which you're here today as a prior licensee with the disciplinary problem, that there has been a diminishment of boxing because of the conduct. Let me finish by saying that as much as I would enjoy watching a non-controversial boxing match between you and Lennox Lewis here in the state of Nevada, I do not believe that you have met your burden of proving that you're entitled to a privileged license, and I will not be able to support your application. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman? Thank you. Mr. Chairman, thank you for the floor. When I presented today, I presented with a completely open mind, completely without any prejudice, with no decision preconceived in my mind. As I said before, and I'll say it again, it was Mr. Mike Tyson who brought us here, and it would need to be Mr. Mike Tyson to get us out. Something very, very important to me is I needed to feel the assurance that this would never happen again, that he controls himself and his emotions, that he could control his impulses, use good judgment, have people around him which he trusted and can use as support. And unfortunately, I did not see that here today. So at this time, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion for denial for licensure of Mr. Mike Tyson.
Oh, we gotta go to Flip. Did you have another comment, Dr. Bippomansky?
He hasn't called for the motion.
I appreciate that. I'll make a real short comment, is that we're all losers here. I mean, there are no winners, and this is not the way the chapter in boxing was supposed to be written. And tomorrow, the wrangling between HBO and Showtime, and who's the #1 contender, all of that, you know, will start. That's the unfortunate part. The people who will try to pick over the remains of the financial package. And the whole issue here is Mr. Tyson and Mr. Tyson's health and welfare. And I know that this commission is still dedicated to providing whatever direction or help in the future that we can do. And this commission will never walk away from trying to help you.
Mr. Chairman? Yes. Mr. Chairman, we have sat here with appreciation for the commission's views. May we respectfully request a recess?
Yes, how long?
At 10 minutes.
10 minutes recess.
So Dr. Luther Mack, the chairman of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, granting Bob Fess's request for a recess. This is after the 3/5 of the closing statements which were to be made. It was pretty clear Amy Ayub would be voting no, and there was finally a motion for denial by not John Bailey, who also made himself clear on a no. Tony Alamo was the man who made a motion for denial. Again, Tyson needs 3 of the 5 commissioners to vote with him to reestablish his boxing license in Nevada. It would appear we are headed for a no vote at this point. And again, we're headed for a 10-minute recess at this point. We'll have an official conclusion to this, presumably in 10 minutes' time, back in Las Vegas. And of course, we'll take you out there live here on ESPN News. Let's go now to the poll results. We've been asking you the question, should Mike Tyson be allowed to fight in Nevada? Many of you voted on ESPN.com, and so far, numbers are changing. 55% of you say yes, he should be allowed to fight in Nevada. It would appear that's not going to be the case. At least that's the way it appears right now. And again, the conclusion coming momentarily from Las Vegas. Thanks to all of you who voted on ESPN.com. These numbers have been switching back and forth all day long. Stay with us. John Seibel, Neil Everett up next here on ESPN News as we conclude with coverage of Mike Tyson's reinstatement hearing from Las Vegas.
Hey, hope you're having a decent Tuesday. Welcome to the latest half hour on the ESPN News Network. In this corner, John Seibel. In this corner, Neil Everett. We're, of course, waiting on that decision from the Nevada Boxing Commission on Mike Tyson. We're also waiting to hear from Marty Schottenheimer. He'll be officially introduced as the new head coach of the San Diego Chargers.
But first, Mike and his fight for his fighting future. We should know better than to be shocked when Mike Tyson steps onto the big stage. So it shouldn't have been a surprise when he left his portion of a stage a week ago, sparking his latest brouhaha. The impromptu pre-heavyweight fight has left him in what seems an uphill fight to regain his Nevada boxing license. Today, the one-time champ took a swing at getting back in the ring, answering Chairman Luther Mack's question, how can they be sure this will never happen again?
I could assure you, as far as I'm concerned, on my behalf and my conduct as a gentleman of the sport, you will never see or hear of that happening from me again. As of this day, I give you my word. I'm just an average guy, and there's been people that's done just as equal, if not worse, as myself, and I don't really care if they do it, whatever, because I'm not Mother Teresa, and I'm not Charles Manson either, but just treat me equal. You know, I don't care if that guy's banned me for life, but just ban somebody else that does the same thing. I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy like that, you know what I mean? I might want to have sex in a crazy place, but I don't want to kill or rape nobody or hurt nobody.
No decision has been made just yet. They're currently in the middle of a 10-minute recess, but so far, 3 panelists in their closing remarks have not been favorable, with even one, Tony Alamo Jr., requesting a motion for denial of his license. So there's 2 more commissioners yet to speak, and then the vote will take place. Of course, you'll see that live right here on ESPN News. We'll be going back out there momentarily. We asked you throughout the afternoon what you think about this whole thing. Do you think Mike Tyson should be allowed to fight in Nevada? Been logging on all day. We appreciate that. We encourage you to tell your friends and family to keep voting on, to tell us what you think should happen with Mike Tyson and his fighting future, at least in Nevada. We'll have results throughout the show. We're going to get back to you in a couple moments, but first we go back to Las Vegas. Closing comments from the Nevada Athletic Commission commissioners.
May not be withdrawn unless the commission consents to the withdrawal. Corresponding regulation is NAC 467.014 sub 2, in which it states, in making a determination on a request to withdraw an application, the commission may, in its discretion, A, deny the request, or B, grant the request with or without prejudice. Therefore, at this time, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, you have the ability either not to act on the request and move forward on Dr. Alamo's motion, or you may entertain a motion from a commissioner to either deny or grant the request.
Comments from the commissioner?
I would make the motion that Mr. Fess has asked for, to allow Mr. Tyson to withdraw his application.
Can I get a second?
The motion will die for lack of a second.
Get another motion, please.
I think my motion then, I will repeat it at this time, denial for licensure for Mike Tyson.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are we doing a roll call vote? We're not doing a roll call.
A roll call, please.
Commissioner Dr. Alamo?
Aye.
Commissioner Ayub?
Aye.
Commissioner Bailey?
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Homansky?
Aye.
Chairman Dr. Mack?
No. Okay. And I want to say one thing on the public comments. When we dismiss, we'll convene really quick for any public comments. But
Chairman Mack, if I may, why don't we just make it for a time certain, 4:10 to reconvene for the rest of the agenda.
4:10 to reconvene.
Why don't we just finish now? Do we have what? You wanted everybody to be able to get out?
There might be people waiting outside who can get in, might want to speak.
Do we have to stay?
You don't have to, but you should.
All right, so quick recap here. What just happened, Tyson's camp submitted a request to have his application withdrawn. The commission did not second that, so they did not even vote on that. The motion did not get a second. They did go ahead and take the vote on whether or not to issue him a license to fight in Vegas. A 4-1 vote denying the issuance of a license. The lone person against the other 4, Dr. Luther Mack, voting in favor of getting Tyson the license. The other 4, though, not in favor of such things, so Tyson will not be fighting in Vegas.
Interesting to note, Mike Tyson not in the courtroom or the room where they had this vote. And what's going to happen with the Lewis-Tyson fight? Will it move to another state? Will it move to another country? Will the fight go off at all? Of course, that's what we'll all sit around and wait and see.
April 6th was the scheduled date. That is just 8 weeks away. Both camps saying they do want to have the fight, and they will take it somewhere else. But as you just said, where that fight's going to take place, I guess all that speculation starts right now. But again, Tyson did not get his license in Vegas. The vote of 4-1 denying him the license will, of course, bring you up to date as to all the developments that happened in the wake of this vote.